Today's case is that of 4-year-old Judah Morgan, and I'm giving a trigger warning for violence against children and child death. In April 2021, Indiana DHS ordered Judah to be returned to his biological parents, and that decision would ultimately end up costing Judah his life. Judah was taken away from his biological parents shortly after his birth in 2017 when he shockingly tested positive for THC as a newborn. He was placed with his mother's second cousin, Jenna Hullett, as a kinship foster situation, and Judah flourished. He grew up calling Hullett his mother, and by all accounts, she was. At one point, Hullett even tried to adopt Judah and had Yoder's blessing, but for some reason, DHS told her no, and in all honesty, I'm not quite sure why they denied that request. Eventually, there began to be talk of placing Judah back with his parents, and Hullett told DHS on not one, but multiple occasions that nothing good would come from Judah being placed back with his parents, and she feared for his safety if he were to be placed back with them. It got to the point where Hullett even tried to fight DHS to be able to keep Judah, but she was told that she would not stand a chance if it became a legal issue because, from my understanding, a kinship guardianship is not necessarily legally binding and can be revoked at any time. So in April of 2021, Judah was placed back with Yoder and Morgan, with Yoder forbidding Hullett of ever seeing the toddler again. When the day came for Judah to be taken, Hullett could not bring herself to tell Judah that he would not be coming back home after his visit with his parents. And as she and DHS were leaving Judah with his bio parents, Judah ended up whispering his final, sweetest, and heartbreaking words to Hullett. Mommy, take me home, please. Judah did not survive 6 months under Yoder and Morgan's care. On October 11th, 2021, at around 2:45 a.m., deputies from LaPorte County, Indiana, responded to a call regarding an unconscious child. When no one would respond to the deputies' knocks, they decided to enter the home. It did not take long after deputies entered for them to discover the lifeless body of Judah on the floor. Court documents would later reveal the abhorrent conditions that Judah and his siblings lived in. The fridge was locked shut so it couldn't be opened without permission, and there was filth, garbage, and animal feces all over the home. And how DHS would allow this child to go back to that household is just beyond me. But perhaps the most shocking discovery was the home surveillance footage that authorities found, which showed in detail the abuse that Judah endured. And here's the trigger warning. The abuse Judah went through was horrific. The footage showed Morgan and Yoder repeatedly physically and psychologically abusing Judah. Morgan was seen repeatedly punching and kicking the defenseless 4-year-old and picking him up by his neck and dropping him to the floor. Yoder was seen hitting Judah and one of his other siblings, as well as throwing all of the children on the floor and kicking them. The footage also caught how Yoder and Morgan would force Judah down into the basement and leave him there alone and in the dark for hours on end. During her interrogation, Yoder reportedly stated that Morgan was frustrated that Judah was not potty trained like his siblings and would punish him. Yeah, because abusing your child for not being potty trained is how you handle that situation. In September of 2022, Morgan took a plea deal and pleaded guilty to murder and battery, and as part of the deal, life without parole was taken off the table, and he was ultimately sentenced to 70 years in prison. In August 2023, Yoder pleaded guilty to 1 count of neglect resulting in the death of a dependent and 1 count of domestic battery to a child, and was ultimately sentenced to 42 years in prison. Now, this is the part that infuriates me when it comes to plea deals that do not match the crime. Yes, both Yoder and Morgan will most likely spend the rest of their lives in prison, but they still have the possibility of parole, which sickens me. And I sincerely hope that that is denied each and every time. They do not deserve to be let out of jail until their full sentence is up. However, some good did come from this tragic story. Jenna Hullett worked tirelessly to make changes to the law when it came to unlicensed caregivers being able to stop a rehoming when they knew that abuse was involved. So she did this hoping that what happened to Judah would never happen to another child. And in early 2022, Judah's law came into effect, which allows unlicensed caregivers like foster parents the chance to stop a child from being placed with their biological parents if they pose a threat to the child's safety. And in tandem, House Bill 12147 was passed that requires DCS to include if a deceased child had a prior history with the agency and more. That concludes this episode. Thanks for tuning in. Be sure to like, subscribe, and turn on those notifications so you don't miss out on an episode. Bye.